Good evening, everyone. I would like to call our regular board meeting to order at 7:31, located in the village chambers. Mr. Clerk, can we get a roll call, please?
Yes, you can, Madam President. Trustee Miller.
Here.
Trustee Jones is absent. Trustee Abraham.
Here.
Mayor Thompson.
Here.
Trustee Senior.
Here.
Trustee Tierney.
Here.
Trustee Horn.
Here.
Madam President, we have a quorum. Can we all please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? May we all pause for a moment of silence, please? Thank you. Item 2 is public comments. The Village of Broadview encourages citizen input. Those wishing to address the village board under public comments must fill out the attached speaker request form and submit it to the village clerk prior to the start of the board meeting. The president will then call your name at the appropriate time. When addressing the village board, your remarks are limited to 3 minutes, please. When the president recognizes you, please state your name and address for the record and speak loudly. Your cooperation is greatly appreciated. Thank you. Also, at this time, if you would please silence your mobile devices or cell phones, we would greatly appreciate it. Madam President.
Thank you. Ms. Redmond?
Good evening, Mayor Thompson. Good evening, board.
Good evening.
Department heads and neighbors. I was just talking to Chris Baker, and it made me think, because of the presentation, Trustee Senior, you were talking about the things that we were going to be doing over this year, and I wanted to, as I was suggesting to him, to make a suggestion about the bike trail. I happen to be driving on Braga Drive, and I think it looks great, the truck drive. But I think that there's got to be something to light it up a little bit more, to make the drivers pay attention that there is now a bike trail. It's black and white, and it's white stripes. And I was asking, I know in some communities, they have the wind turbines that light up a stop. They have the, I don't know, the grommets and the pavement. I was just wondering if that could be looked into, and that's what I was just saying. So I wanted to make the comment for all of you to consider. I don't know what the money is, but I just wanted to give you something more to think about. I also want to thank Trustee Horn for hosting the Be Well town hall, and I thought it was really good information. I want you to know that I know that cannabis is here and we've got the laws, but things can evolve and we can always tweak it for our village. And two things that I hadn't even thought about was the concentration of whatever we're going to be selling if we get dispensaries. What, like, is it going to be 10% of THP or whatever's in there? Is it going to be 25%? Can we cap it so that we don't have people coming here for the strongest stuff that they can get? And then one other thing that really crossed my mind as we were talking about it, there were some very good presenters, is the certification of the recreational marijuana people. Right now, we have the medical marijuana and the recreational marijuana is being sold there. You've got very educated people that can talk to people about what they're getting. We want to make sure that people that are going to be selling in this village certified, know, and we can have policies that will say you must meet certain standards, because we don't want folks walking in and not knowing what they, I want to try this and not knowing what the implications are. And if that's in the law, great, but I think Broadview needs to look into it a little bit more. And then lastly, I want to thank the police department and the fire department. I was at approaching the intersection on Friday, this last Friday morning around 9 o'clock, and as I was coming up, it was slushy ice out. There was a nasty accident. 3 cars on the sidewalk, one by the new to you. I thought the window was knocked out, but I couldn't tell if it was or not. And then there was another car in the intersection going west, and debris everywhere, some people very traumatized, including myself just looking at it. Anyway, I want to applaud our police and our fire department. The professionalism, let me tell you, I've been in situations where folks are going, you get over here, you move over there, you whatever. That was not the case. calm, considerate, polite, moving people where they should be. And as I was telling Chief Hugling, Officer Dan, smart guy, because I was stuck at that light, didn't know which way to go. He pulled out that push broom and cleaned out that debris, turned right. I go, thank you, Officer Dan. But anyway, I just want to compliment all of you for the great work. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Redmond. Mr. Clerk?
Okay, that concludes our public comment. Next to item 3, communications. I do have a couple of things I want to draw to everyone's attention. At the back, as you enter the chambers, there's 2 tables, the mayor's table, the clerk's table. There's gambits of information back there. There's a couple of new forms that are double-sided regarding the census. Please take a look at the census forms because we're going to be talking about this stuff from now until the end of the year. And we have a form that talks about the census jobs and the pay rate in Cook County. Items that the census will never ask you. This is to protect your identity and all of the private information that is gathered. And also ways to respond. Sometime early March, every household is going to receive an invitation in the mail. And there's a sample of what that invitation looks like on one of the forms. And there's 3 ways to respond. It tells you exactly how you can do it online now, by your cell phone, or by questionnaire, by hard copy through the mail. So please take a look at those forms and be educated. If you have any questions, the clerk's office is always available for census questions. And that concludes item 3, Madam President. Next is item 4, consideration to approve the following minutes. Minutes from the January 21st, 2020 regular board meeting.
Motion to approve. Second.
It's been properly motioned by Trustee Senior, seconded by Trustee Miller. Madam President.
Trustee Horn?
Nothing.
Trustee Tierney?
Nothing.
Trustee Senior?
Nothing.
Trustee Abraham?
None.
Trustee Miller?
No questions.
Roll call. Trustee Miller.
Yes.
Trustee Jones is absent. Trustee Abraham.
Yes.
Trustee Senior.
Yes.
Trustee Tierney.
Yes.
Trustee Horn.
Yes.
Madam President, that carries 5-0. Pass the minutes. Next is item 5, consideration to approve expenditures, grand total of all funds, $424,673.84.
Motion to approve. Second.
It's been properly motioned by Trustee Abraham, seconded by Trustee Horn. Madam President.
Thank you. Trustee Abraham, Chair of the Finance Committee, please read the warrant list.
Yes, Madam Mayor. This is the Village of Broadview AP warrant list as of 1/29/20. First vendor is AT&T, $10,314.26. Blackboard Incorporated, $4,442.50. Blue Cross Blue Shield of Illinois, $161,245.42. Delgado Law Group, LLC, $16,623.75. Echo Clean Maintenance Incorporated, $2,504. Edwin Hancock Engineering, $98,782.99. Geno's Heating and Plumbing Incorporated, $38,314. H&H Electric, $8,189.18. Lincoln National Life Insurance, $7,659.03. The law offices of Philip M. Fornaro, $10,000. Mid-American Water, excuse me, $5,560. MQ Construction Company, $27,694.04. Total expenditures over $2,500 is $391,329.17. Our total expenditures is $424,673.84. Our percentage of total is 92%. Our electronic payment vendor for Chase credit card, these are payments reflecting as of December 25th, 2019, an amount of $5,852.66. The funds amounts for the general fund is being charged $248,045.62. Our capital projects fund, $127,208.28. Our water and sewage fund, $49,419.94, for a grand total of $424,673.84. That is the total for all our checks, Madam
Thank you.
Mayor.
Trustee Horn?
Nothing.
Trustee Tierney?
Nothing.
Trustee Senior?
Nothing.
Trustee Abraham?
None.
Trustee Miller?
No questions.
Roll call, please.
Roll call, trustee Miller.
Yes.
Trustee Jones is absent. Trustee Abraham.
Yes.
Trustee Senior.
Yes.
Trustee Tierney.
Yes.
Trustee Horn.
Yes.
And Madam President, that carries 5-0 to pay the bills.
Thank you.
Next is the item 6, committee reports. Committee reports are given at each first meeting of the month, starting with street, sidewalks, and alleys. Trustee Senior.
I don't have anything at this time.
Thank you, trustee. Next is the Finance Committee. Trustee Abraham.
Yes, good evening, fellow trustees, Madam Mayor, and our residents.
Good evening.
And I do want to report that on next Wednesday, February 12th, at 7:30, the Finance Committee will be having a meeting here in the chambers. Some things that we are going to be discussing is, number one, we have going to give an overview and results of the 2019. Number two, we're going to talk about projections and expectations for 2020. Number three, we're going to talk about some project updates, any that are finalized or in work in progress. Number four, we're going to discuss the 2021 fiscal budget. And then the most important thing is item number 5, is that I've invited the mayor, the Finance Committee has invited the mayor to attend our Finance Committee meeting so she can discuss the financial successes of the 2019, 2020, 2018. So she'll give us an update on that. And that's it.
Thank you.
Thank you, trustee. Next is the Business License Committee. Trustee Jones. In his absence, Mayor, do we have anyone reporting on the Business License Committee?
No.
Thank you, Mayor. Next is the Fire, Police, and Civil Service Committee. Trustee Tierney.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
It was last week, January 28th, we had a meeting for the fire and police departments. We had both chiefs there, Chief Kenny, Chief Ugling. We also had Gwen Turner, who was the chair of the Fire Police Commission, and she was there and had some good information. Chief Ugling had some really good information. He had year-end statistics that he's going to provide on either the website or your Facebook page. So everybody will have a chance to look and see what the statistics are for over the last year. That's all I have.
Thank you.
Thank you, trustee. Next is the Water, Drainage, and Health Committee. Trustee Miller.
No report.
Thank you, trustee. And lastly, Building and Public Property. Trustee Horn.
Good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
So I am preparing to have a committee meeting on February 10th at 6:30 p.m. Some of the topics to be discussed will be some of the TIF districts that are expiring, the senior housing project update, the Red Door Banquet Hall, an update related to that. And as of right now, that's all the information I have, but the committee meeting is scheduled for 6:30 p.m., February 10th. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Next item. And before we go on, let the record reflect that at 7:44 p.m., Trustee Jones arrived to the meeting. Next item is item 7, old business. We have none at this time. Item 8, new business. A, an ordinance authorizing the Village of Broadview, County of Cook, State of Illinois, to borrow funds from the Public Water Supply Loan Program.
Motion to approve.
Second.
It's been properly motioned by Trustee Miller, seconded by Trustee Abraham. Madam President.
Thank you. Chris from Hancock Engineer, you want to talk about the IEPA loan?
Good evening. So most of you guys know that the village is in the process of securing a low-interest IEPA loan to improve water main on 25th Avenue from Fillmore to Roosevelt. In the alleys just north of Roosevelt, between 25th and 18th, and then 18th down to Roosevelt, and then again on Roosevelt from 18th to 10th on the south side of the street. The village is, they've submitted a facility report which kind of doesn't guarantee funding, but kind of puts you in line for it, for this water main improvements. Now they're in the process of putting together a loan. As part of the loan, there's a lot of public information that needs to be given out, and this is just a portion of that. It's basically saying that the loan is going to be for X amount of dollars, it'll be paid back over 20 years, and it describes the improvements. if all goes well, the project could potentially start this summer. The state's fiscal year, or the IPA's fiscal year is July 1, so.
Thank you, trustee Horn.
Trustee Miller, I don't recall a committee meeting or anything taking place related to water, drainage, and health. Can you provide some insight on this particular loan and what we should expect related to the community for it?
So I've been at every meeting that you've been at. I haven't had a committee meeting regarding this. I wanted to get more information about it as well. So I think most of your questions you probably should direct to the engineering firm, because I haven't had anything directly about this.
That's it, thank you.
Trustee Tierney,
I have no questions.
trustee Seymour,
Nothing.
trustee Abraham,
None.
trustee Jones.
Yeah, Chris, how much money are we looking for?
$6 million. That includes design and construction. It's currently at a 2% interest rate, but that changes every year. It changes minorly. It'll be around 2%. The village is also seeking the possibility of any principal forgiveness. That's what we're looking into now.
Okay, so it's $6 million over 20 years at 2% interest.
Correct.
Do we know exactly what it's going to, is it going to be for the project that you just described a minute ago?
It is, yeah, and it should be mentioned that that $6 million is not just water main improvements. It will also involve reconstructing the alleys north of Roosevelt between 25th and 18th, which are in pretty bad shape, so that's a big part of it.
Is there any specific criteria for acquiring this loan? I mean, is there anything that we need to meet?
Well, the facilities plan was done, which kind of outlines the project. It talks about the village's water rates. It talks about how you're going to repay back the loans, which we've got information from your finance team, so we're kind of on that.
Yeah, they're next up, but so it talks about water rates. So you're expecting that this is, well, I guess that's a question for finance. And it's going to include alleys on the north side of Roosevelt Road.
Correct.
Okay.
Because that's where the water main's going.
Well, I know. I just want to know. So it's only alleys, and that's it. Alleys and the water main.
Correct. And so where the water main's going on 25th Avenue and the sidewalk, it'll include some sidewalk replacement. And in other areas where it goes in the street, it'll be street patching. So just restoration.
Restoration. Okay. I guess my next question then, I guess, would be the finance. What's the plan to fund this over the next 20 years? If in fact we are approved for this loan.
Tom, you want to come to the mic, or Tim?
Yeah, who's gonna discuss that?
So the plan, which is being executed, is why it was crucial for the water rates to come up to speed. So, you know, being that it's a low interest rate revolving loan, we plan to fund it specifically and solely from the water fund, which is now in a position to be shored up and to be more profitable now that we've attempted to recapture some of the water rate increases over the past 10 years that were never passed on to the residents.
So you're expecting to fund this 100% off the water increase?
Yes.
So you increase the rate on the water to fund a project that we don't even know if we're going to get?
No, that's not the case. So we
Well, hold on a minute.
No.
You're telling
Let me
you're
answer
gonna
your
fund
question.
this,
Let me
you're
answer your
saying-
question.
No, you
Let me
listen to
answer.
me.
Let me answer your
No,
question.
you just did. Now I got a second question.
No, you.
No,
I
no,
did
you
not.
did.
I did not.
So what you're
You just
saying
rephrased
is
the
that,
question.
no,
and
no,
you did not hear the answer.
please. I'm the trustee. We pay you. Hold on a minute.
That's so disrespectful.
Now, it is
No.
very disrespectful for him to interrupt me when I'm trying to get a question across and a point across.
But that's not how you go about it.
Well,
We
you know
run a
what,
professional board.
Madam
We don't run
President,
how it
that's
was.
that's
You
all
used to
well
run.
and good, but my job here is to ensure what we're doing
And we
with the
expect you to
village.
do your job.
Okay, well then he should be
But be
able to give me this
professional.
answer. So we have passed on a water rate increase with the expectation to use those funds that we're gonna make off this water rate increase to pay for a loan that we don't know if we're gonna get.
No, that's not correct.
Then that's
That
what
is
you
not
just said.
correct. No, that's not
Well,
correct.
what are you saying then?
What I'm saying, first of all, is that the water rates needed to be increased because they were never increased over the past 10 years.
That's not true.
It is totally
That's not
correct.
true. But go ahead, keep
We
going,
did
but that's
not,
not
the
true.
village did not, and we presented this in several meetings to show that the city of Chicago and the Broadview Water Agency passed on about at least 300% increases that the village never passed on to the residents. So that needed to be done to shore up the water fund. Right? So that's the first thing. The second thing, because we have raised rates to capture past increases that were never passed on to the residents, we're not talking up and beyond what was passed on to the village from the city of Chicago. We're talking about trying to keep pace with the past increases that were never passed on. So because the village was able to do that with the water rate increase, now the water fund is now in a solid position that puts us in an opportunity to go after a low interest rate loan to shore up the water infrastructure for the village of Broadview, which is in desperate need. When you look at the money that's being spent on water main breaks, right, that we're just repairing, we're not,
I got an invoice.
then you're looking at the past 6 years, we probably, or over the past 10 years, we probably paid about $10 to $11 million that could have been used to strategically replace the water mains, the alleys, and whatever else needed to be done in a strategic manner instead of just dealing with the results of the problem. Now, with Hancock's help, with them presenting this great opportunity to strategically improve the water infrastructure, that's what's being done.
So what you're saying is that the water rate increases are not solely to recapture the increases that you say that we did not get from the city of Chicago, but to recapture those increases and fund this loan.
No, because if we don't get, that needed to be done regardless. Because if we did not, then the
But
water,
you're telling
then
me
the
that
water fund
without-
would be
without it-
insolvent.
Trustee, let
Then
him
the
speak.
water fund would be
He's not answering the
insolvent.
Yeah,
question.
but you interrupted.
But he's not answering the question.
One person talk at a time. He got the floor.
He's
You
not
don't.
answering the question.
But you don't have the floor.
Well, who's got the floor then?
Director Hicks?
So the water rate increase was to shore up the water fund, to keep the water fund from being insolvent. So that's what the water rate increases. A benefit of the water rate increases is that now that we're on solid footing going forward, we have an opportunity to apply for a loan that will allow the village to strategically replace the water mains.
Back to my question. My question is, the water rate increase was not solely to cover the expenses incurred by the raises from the city of Chicago, but also to allow us to apply for a loan. That's the question. The question is, was the water rate increase basically exactly designed because of the fact that, in your terms, the village did not pass along those water rate increases?
They did not.
If in fact that's the case, then you should have been flatlined. But what you're saying is that we increased this water rate with the ability to also go after a loan. So it's going to be able to fund a loan.
It's a benefit of the water rate increases because you have to show that you are able to pay back the loan from the water fund. It's a benefit. It was never done with that in mind. So now that we are in a position where the water fund is going to be in a solid position, getting back to the profitability levels that it was 15 years ago, a benefit of that is that we are in a position to apply for a low interest rate loan.
You're still not answering the question, but
I answered your
I'll
question.
move
Asked
on.
and
No,
answered,
you're not.
sir.
No, you're not. No, you're not. I'll move on.
Trustee Miller?
I'm done.
So, to answer some of the concerns, I believe initially when we had the water rate increase, it went through the finance team and it never tapped over to the water drainage and health team. So that was one of my concerns, and I kind of got flatlined as well, and it was like, well, it went through the finance department. That, the uncertainty of why it happened or what caused it to happen, I can
What are we
understand.
referring to when you say why, what happened?
The water rate increase, the uncertainties I think that we're having now, and then to see a $6 million
So, I don't understand that
Trustee
you're gonna say.
Miller has the floor director here.
to make, to now see a $6 million loan request, even though it's gonna be partially funded through the water rate increase, and then we'll do the capital improvements that we've stated we were gonna do probably for the last 10 to 12 years, it does seem a little conflicting on what we were told when we were having these finance meetings that I don't think all of us were in attendance at, and then to see this today. I think that's where the,
I don't understand the uncertainty.
I'm not asking you a question, I'm making a statement.
Okay.
So mine is just a statement, just to say, I think that that might be where the disconnect is at with those of us that didn't attend the finance meetings versus those of us that are here now today. That's specifically it.
Hold on. You finished, Trustee? Miller?
Yes.
Trustee Horn?
I would like to move that we refer this legislation to a joint committee meeting between the Water, Drainage, and Health and Finance Committee so that we can discuss the legislation collectively with an investigation and a recommendation.
Thank you, Trustee Horn.
Can I get a second?
We still on the chair, so it's not making a motion right now. Trustee
According
Abraham?
to this, I can make a motion. I'm looking at the Robert Rules of Order that says that when I have the floor, I can move an item to a committee. It says, can you interrupt the speaker? No, you can't. Do you need a second? Yes. Can the item be debated? Yes. Can it be amended? No. You need the majority of votes. I had the opportunity to speak.
But Trustee Abraham wanted to make a statement,
But
too.
you gave the floor to me, and I was just asking, I just made a motion. When I said, can I make a statement, you said my name, and I'm just saying, maybe we should have a collective meeting between Water, Drainage, and Health, where the chair, Trustee Miller, can speak on behalf of Water, Drainage, and Health. Finance can also be present, and it can be a collective conversation where all questions could be solidified. We can get the feedback of the public, who will also be present, and we can make an informed decision at that moment. Can I get a second? It's obvious a lot of the questions still unanswered. And
I
to
second.
Trustee
I just
Miller's
think it's a
point,
great
she
idea.
hasn't had an opportunity to speak about it in a committee meeting. Can I get a second?
I did.
Majority? Can somebody
Clerk, can we
facilitate the
get a roll
conversation?
call?
I think we're in order right now, so.
So it's been motioned by Trustee Horn and seconded by Trustee Jones.
Mr. Attorney, can you?
No, we need, thank you, Mr. Clerk.
Yes, sir, go ahead.
We're bringing back order. Thank you for bringing back order to this meeting and decorum. It is, actually, that's a proper motion. There is no such committee at this point in time, so we should keep that. There is no such committee at this point in time.
Did you just yell at me?
I did not yell at you.
Yes, you did.
No, there is no committee at this point in time. I don't know how many times I
What are
need to
these
say
committees
it.
on here?
I said a joint committee between
I'm
finance
gonna,
and Water, Drainage,
again, we're gonna
and Health.
restore order to this meeting. May I address Trustee Jones?
Yes.
Thank you.
So these
There was a
committees,
request for a joint committee. Do you see a joint committee on there, trustee?
no, she
Okay,
said a
thank you.
joint meeting of the two committees.
I said,
It is time for a roll call on the vote on whether to send it to a committee that doesn't exist.
that's not a true statement because there's an and clause. Joint means and. Finance and Water, Drainage, and Health.
And that committee does not, I don't, trustee, you accused me of yelling at you. I did not yell at you. But the fact of the matter is, I said there's no such committee. And you are reaffirming my statement by saying there's an and clause in there.
I didn't
There
say
is
it
no such committee.
Point,
If you
point,
want to send it to one of the
That's
two
not part of the
committees,
legislation.
if you, that's not a fault of the,
Can we,
I'll make
there's a motion on the floor to refer this to a committee that doesn't exist.
can I make a superseding motion to table this?
The
Second.
motion to table would supersede that motion.
I second.
Until when?
Been properly motion, a superseding motion by trustee Miller, seconded by trustee Jones, to table this. Trustee Miller,
Until
what would
the
you like
next
to
board
table?
meeting.
Yeah, until the next regularly scheduled board meeting.
Until the next regular board meeting?
Scheduled board meeting, February.
So the superseding motion again is by trustee
17th.
Miller, seconded by trustee Jones, to table this item, which is item A, until the next regular board meeting. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. Hearing no opposition, this is hereby tabled until the next board meeting, which is at this point February 17th, 2020. Madam President, that concludes our new business, which was item 8. No, it doesn't. I'm lying.
Thank you, Director Hicks and,
Hold on a second.
Mr. Hood.
Okay, on to item 9, which is application for the authority to expend funds. Disregard the space where it says none. We actually have a purchase order in the total amount of $19,329.24 from Motorola through the police department.
Motion to approve.
Second.
It's been properly motioned by trustee Tierney, seconded by trustee Abraham. Madam President.
Trustee Horn?
No questions.
Trustee Tierney?
Chief, the reason
Did you
we're
want
getting
Chief
this
to
is
speak on it?
He got, the police chair got it.
Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Good evening. The reason for these radios are, they're called 800 megahertz radios. By 2021, the FCC is requiring all police agencies to go to this frequency. What had happened in the past was we were get one radio for a car, maybe a new light bar, and we were piecemealing it, trying to get to the 2021 mandate. In fact, I had actually requested a capital project for $60,000 for this, but because of the loan, because of the grant we got about 6 months ago, it actually freed up my money. That's why I'm able to purchase these 3 radios now, because we freed up this $19,000. So I only need one more radio now in the next budget, and I'll be able to hit the mandate. So I'm going to be withdrawing that capital project, request for $60,000. But this radio is part for the in-car radios. It will be a mandate by the FCC by May of 2021.
Okay, that's all I have there.
Okay.
Trustee Senior? Trustee Abraham?
This was in your budget, correct?
Correct.
You allocated it?
Yeah,
Thank
it
you.
loosened up because of the grant that we got.
Trustee Jones?
I have no question.
Trustee Miller?
So there will be an invoice or purchase order coming along for a fourth one for
In the
$6,000?
next budget.
Okay,
Maybe another one.
so at that point, it's a $25,000 spend for something that you had allocated a $60,000 request for?
No, this loosened up like there's a line item for the equipment in the vehicles, and that's what this did, because the in-car cameras are $6,000 alone too.
Okay.
And I was gonna put 2 of those into $12,000, but the grant covered all the in-car cameras.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Clerk, can we get a roll call?
Yes, you can, Madam President. Trustee Miller?
Yes.
Trustee Jones? Trustee Abraham?
Yes.
Trustee Senior?
Yes.
Trustee Tierney?
Yes.
Trustee Horn?
Yes.
And Madam President, this carries 6-0. Thank you all.
We're gonna go back.
Okay, next is item 10, Village Clerk. I just want to,
17th is President's Day. Mr. Clerk, may I make it?
Please
Madam
do.
Chair, may I make a statement? We made a motion to table something to February the 17th.
Well, I actually said the
February-
next regularly scheduled board
And
meeting.
then it was,
I didn't give a date.
does the minute reflect the date?
the minutes do reflect the date, and if the date needs to be corrected, I can make that correction.
The date is actually, I believe that the village recognizes President's Day.
Yes.
Yes.
So we wouldn't be meeting at that day. We can't schedule meetings on holidays, it's not.
Let the record reflect that the meeting,
It's the
the
18th.
item has been tabled until the next board meeting, at which time I will announce the date. And I believe if I'm calculating this correctly,
It's the 18th according
18th,
to our
it will be
calendar.
February 18th, so let the record reflect that. Thank you, Mr. Attorney.
Thank you.
Appreciate that.
That's Tuesday, that's right.
Okay,
Go ahead.
your floor. Okay, so now, Black History Month. I just wanted to acknowledge, for the record, Black History Month is the month of February, and it is such an important month to so many people. I can't say enough in this meeting about what it means to me, but please, in whatever way that you see fit, acknowledge Black History Month and pass along your acknowledgement to the young generation so they can carry on that. That concludes my comments for this meeting, Madam President. Item 11 is the village president's comments. Mayor Katrina Thompson.
Thank you, Mr. Clerk, and happy Black History Month. I'm going to start off with this quote by Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. "We must live together as brothers or perish together as fools." And I say that as we listen to the conversation that took place tonight as it relates to the IPA legislation that's brought before this board, this is something that we've been very transparent with through the Finance Committee meeting. We've been very vocal. It's been in our newsletters as it relates to the water fund, the water rates increase and the intent of the increase. So that information is public and it is on our website. We've been very upfront and very transparent with the community as it relates to the water rates and the history that went behind it. And many of you are in the room that participated in the Finance Committee meeting, so we don't have a hidden agenda as it appeared the conversation went tonight. As it relates to Trustee Miller and the Water, Health, and Drainage Committee, you know, I just expect all the trustees, whatever committee they chair, that they collaborate and work together to have joint committee meetings, because that's possible, that they talk to one another and do that. I can't manage the legislators. They have to manage themselves and learn to work together as a team. And when we start working as individuals, as a body, we start divide and conquer. And that happened in the past administration. It was a divide and conquer where the mayor couldn't make recommendations because of the dysfunction of the legislative body. So I thought we had moved past that, and we've had a lot of growth, but this administration is all about accountability and being transparent, and we will remain in that form. So the legislation got tabled tonight. I'm happy about that, and we do have a Finance Committee meeting that's coming up on February 12th. The agenda has not actually been posted. So Trustee Miller and Trustee Abraham, if they can collaborate to kind of catch up on some things as it relates to the water mains and the IPA loan, and maybe Chris Baker can come and be a part of the conversation. But all of that information is very public. We streamlined all our Finance Committee meetings. I encourage everyone, even the legislative body as well as the public, to go back and look at the Finance Committee meetings to see what the conversation was so that you be brought up to speed. And go back to our newsletters and read the newsletters to see the newsletter with the information in it as it relates to the purpose. And prior to us even tapping into the borrowing component, we did have legislation as it related to the IPA on how we move forward. So this is not something new to this body. It's just we have to pay attention to the details and stay on track on what it is that's important in the priorities. And so the borrowing of the money, this is the next step that we have to do, and, you know, just being very proactive in strategically working together to move the village forward. We've known for multiple years that those alleys that's over there on the north side had aging infrastructure at least 80 years old. And it didn't make sense, and so from what I'm told, it didn't make sense for them to fix the alleys when you have to fix the water mains. So this is like we're getting a 2-for-1, but all of that discussion came up in the Finance Committee meeting. So I just encourage everyone to go to the Finance Committee meetings. The videos is on our website. It's very transparent, no hidden agenda. Just a couple of highlights that's taking place. So I've had the opportunity to sit on the Community Memorial Foundation Health Committee, and so they have these cards. It's called Crisis Text Line. They look like this. They're in the back of the room. We're waiting on more to come for the officers to have, because they're the first responders to a lot of the crisis situations that take place on the street, but you can actually text them the text now, and it's a confidential conversation between whoever texting and the receiver on the phone. So this is something that we have. Also, our living room. So the West Suburban Road Home, this is a program that provides counseling support and mental health care services to veterans regardless of discharge status and ability to pay. This is a program that's right at the living room, that's accessible to all our veterans population, so I encourage the community to take advantage of the services that we have. So that's back there on the table. And then I'm a speaker at Triton College on February 29th for Say Yes to Your Future Conference. It's a day of empowering our future female leaders. So this is for high school age young ladies, and their mother and guardians are invited a day of motivation and empowering. And the other guest speaker is our very own Carmen Avila. She's the Illinois State Superintendent of Education. So if you know any young girls that's in middle school age, encourage them to participate in this conversation. I think it's going to be a dynamic forum. the clerk didn't mention this, and I'm kind of surprised he didn't, but the jobs are available for the census. The information is back there. The jobs start at $26.50 to $29.50 per hour. But what you need to know is it's not just, you know, if you receive retirement benefits, those seniors that still want to work, it won't impact your income if you own a set income. If you receive medical or SNAP assistance, it won't interfere with that. You're still able to work during that time through the census jobs. They will not minimize your benefits or cut your benefits because you're working for them. So if you know anyone that's a senior or someone that's receiving any type of public aid, just encourage them to apply, that it won't interfere with the benefits that they currently receiving. Senator Majority Leader Kimberly Lyford has her Saturday University. It's a program for students in 5th through 8th grade. The program is located at the Maywood Park District at the Kimberly A. Lyford Recreational Center, so information is on the back. So Broadview Little League Baseball, it went away for maybe a year or so, and I'm excited that they're bringing it back. So baseball registration is open, the 2020 season, from January 2nd to March 15th. So encourage those young folks that want to play youth baseball to get back involved and get engaged. Ages starting from 4 to 12. And so that's coming back. It's important for us to stay connected with our elected officials at the county level. And so on February 12th at 8 a.m., I will be hosting a business breakfast with the assessor, Fritz Cake. And so we've invited our business partners, stakeholders, to come have breakfast with them as they get ready to reassess the industrial, commercial businesses and what that means to them. We saw some pushback when they assessed the north side, so we just want to be proactive and know where the businesses stand in Broadview as it relates to their businesses being reassessed. And in the future, we will be hosting one for the residents when our Proviso Township open up for a property assessment. So the U.S. Postal Service, so we all know that we had a problem with us receiving our newsletter, so we did ask for an investigation to take place. But we're going to be sending out letters to the residents and to the business owner that we spend about $5,000 every quarter on newsletters. That's with the printing and the postage. And I think that's excessive when we can go to a digital format now that we are better in line with our communications, email, social media, and then those that's not on social media or do not have an email address, such as some seniors and some with disabilities, we will provide hard copies to them or we will mail them. They just have to request it. So you'll be getting a letter in the mail to tell us what form you want to receive your newsletter, whether you want to receive an email or for the seniors or those with a disability, if we need to mail you a hard copy, we will be happy to do that. But I think it's time for us to move forward in our technology and use the tools that we have. We have our constant contact is up and running where we can send out multiple blast emails at one time. So we got some tools in place so that we can get away from relying on our postal service to get important information out to the community. And I just want to make sure I didn't leave off anything. Okay, and so as you all know, last January 29th, Governor Pritzker delivered the first State of the State. During the ceremony speech, Governor Pritzker briefly touched on his 2020 legislative agenda. More details is expected in the upcoming weeks as Governor unveils his fiscal 2021 budget and priorities in the legislation. Governor Pritzker will deliver his budget address on February 19th. So when we talk about policies and legislation, my expectation is that we pay attention to the legislative for things that impact us in Broadview, and I'm one person. So the things that I bring to this legislative body, I need assistance to follow in the bills, whether it's a Senate bill or a House bill. The information is public. We can do that. It's just we have to be proactive in our own rescue in the direction that we want Broadview to go in. And this is a professional board. We don't have to get into great debate and attack one another at any given moment or assume that someone should be doing something when you all have access to, talk to your elected bodies. I had one trustee literally tell me they didn't want to collaborate with the other trustees because they don't work with her. And that's not true. You got to put out the call for people to work with you. So, we just have to move forward, but that's what happened in the last administration, the divide and conquer, And that's not the direction where we're going, and there's a lot of great things that's taking place in the village of Broadview, and we should keep that dialogue and keep it moving in a positive, professional way. I do want to highlight Ms. Redmond and some of her comments tonight before I conclude. The bike trail on Bragdon Drive. I've been over there, and I'm not a construction worker, so I don't know if we can highlight it to where the paint highlights where it's reflected lights and put signage up, and I'm sure that's coming. It just haven't came because the project is still in the process, but it does look really nice with that. It just needs to have the reflector on the bike, so I think that's something that will probably be coming. It just haven't came online as of yet. The certification of recreation. So when we talk about, when we passed the cannabis legislation in Broadview, it was with the intent that the police department would take the lead on educating the community, educating, getting the tools that we need that's gonna, hold us accountable. So we're working with the police department and the other professionals that's in the industry as we package our deal together for those that apply for the license. So the first step was we had to pass the legislation to move forward with cannabis. The second part is we have to wait until the state award the licenses. They haven't even been awarded yet. So for us to prematurely, do things, but in the background, the police department is working on their marketing piece, the educational piece, the application process. The Chief Euglin and Commissioner Upsar are working on the application when they apply here on what's going to be accepted, and but I know some things we can tweak, and it's a learning for all of us. This is something new for all of us, and we shouldn't just jump to conclusions on thinking that it's a bad thing. But if we educate the community on the impact of it, and that's what we charge Chief Euglin and his team to do, and they've been putting out some pretty good pieces as it relates to the educational component, so we will continue that. But as we move forward, of course, we're gonna have to tweak some things from time to time to accommodate the needs of Broadview. Not nowhere else, but the needs of Broadview, so we are looking forward to do that. And I appreciate the comments for the fire and police department. They work extremely hard to maintain their professionalism when it's a situation. I believe the accident you're talking about was a 5-car accident that took place on Roosevelt Road. And they are very professional, fire and police, and they hold their team, the Chief Kenny and Chief Euglin, they hold their staff to the standard of excellency. And that's something we talk about in our department head means how we treat the public when we out. Even if it's a situation that, you get revved up or it's not favorable, but you still remain that professionalism. So I appreciate that comment, just highlighting how professional they are in a time of trauma with a magnitude or something like that. So I appreciate that. And with that being said, we have closed session.
Yep. So will that complete your
That
report?
concludes my report.
Thank you, Madam President. Excuse me, I have the floor. Item 12 is closed session, which includes Section 2C11, the appointment, employment, compensation, discipline of specific employees. Also, Section 2C11, litigation against on behalf of the village of where the village finds that an action is probable or imminent. Also, possible action on items coming out of the closed session. Now, I will entertain a motion to suspend the regular board meeting and go to closed session.
Motion to suspend the regular board meeting and adjourn to executive session.
It's been properly motioned by Trustee Jones and seconded by Trustee Miller to suspend the regular board meeting. All in favor say aye. Aye. All approve say nay. Hearing none, we are hereby suspended at 8:20 p.m. Thank you.
ready? Oh, we waiting on the clerk.
February 18th.
Gotta wait for the clerk to get.
I think I need to talk to you.
What's up?
Are you good?
No, no. Yeah, the hearing, yeah. Who's their lawyer? Is he good?
He just switched lawyers 4 times.
Yeah, because they can't pay.
I don't know who.
He's punted. They want to open up.
You ready? Motion to reconvene the regular session.
It's been properly motioned by trustee Jones, seconded by trustee Miller to reconvene the regular board meeting at 8:50 PM. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. Hearing none. We are now hereby reconvened. Madam President. report.
Thank you. So, in executive session, we give a directive to Attorney Scarlato to move forward with the conversation tomorrow.
Okay. That concludes the board meeting. Now I'll entertain a motion to adjourn the regular board meeting.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
It's been properly motioned by trustee Tierney, seconded by trustee Jones. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed say nay. Hearing no opposition, we are hereby adjourned at 8:51 PM. Thank you.
I'm not here.